Winning and losing. Well, I'm here to tell you that there is a huge disconnect between parents of young athletes and the elite level athletes winning at the top of the food chain. The difference is striking. And in today's video, I want to help parents understand how these champions feel and think about winning. And my guess is it's really, really going to challenge you and what you think winning and losing really is all about. It's all coming up right now.
And now the most trusted name in all of youth sports, here's Coach Mark.
Hey, it's Coach Mark. Happy to be here with you. Thank you for watching my videos. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hitting the like button when you think this content is valuable for you. And of course, notifications. We want to keep notifying you every time we put out new content, which is almost every day now. Okay, let's get started. We're going to talk about winning and losing. There's a big disconnect for a lot of parents. They're doing some things in this subject that could be hurting their young athlete. Now, let me go back to maybe the source of some of the confusion, because you all probably know this. There's a guy named Vince Lombardi, and he was a famous football coach back in the day, and he was a winner. And he made a statement that said, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Now, I'm sure at the time in his world and who he was talking to, professional athletes, maybe there was a lot of truth to that in that context. But I can tell you, if you're the parent of a young athlete and you are applying that thought, that philosophy, that concept, and telling your young 10-year-old son, hey, son, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. If you're telling your son that and that's what he thinks, you are putting an enormous amount of pressure on your son to perform. And my guess is, based on me observing a lot of young families and watching travel baseball, the emphasis to win is so incredible. The pressure to win, that trophy, man, that is important, right? And we got to beat the crosstown rivals, right, man? I mean, we can't lose to those guys, right? I mean, this is where it's coming from, this pressure. And this, in my opinion, it is creating a drop-off for kids at about 13. It's contributing to their dislike of this because people are in really, really bad moods sometimes when they don't win. I mean, they truly let it affect their life and performance. I mean, I think I told you one time, and I'll tell you again, I had a dad not give a water bottle to his son because his son went 0 for 4. Okay? The performance was more important than the relationship with the son or even his health. Okay. Now, you may say, well, I would never be like that. But I want you to start taking inventory of how you feel about winning and losing, how you act about winning and losing, how your son feels about winning and losing, and how he acts. Because I promise you, if it's affecting you very much, you're going to need to take a step back and analyze this. So in today's video, I'm not just going to talk about the problem. I'm going to talk about the solution. Okay. So let's get into some differences. When we talk about winning and losing, we're talking about a result. Somebody wins, somebody loses, right? And we desperately don't want to be on the losing end for a variety of reasons. I'm not suggesting in any way that you like losing. I'm not suggesting that you're happy that you lose. Not at all. But here's where I want to start taking this on the high road. I want you to start thinking about every single outing as a learning experience. See, we can learn in wins and we can learn in losses. We can view the result of the game as it's okay either way, as long as I'm getting better, as long as I'm developing as an athlete, as a competitor, we're fine. And this is how the top of the food chain thinks about it. Because if they didn't, remember, if you're at the top of the food chain, if you're Roger Federer, if you're Michael Jordan, if you're Derek Jeter, if you're Muhammad Ali, you're Michael Phelps, these are people at the top of the food chain. They're winning at the highest levels. If they couldn't handle losing, they would never be where they were. If they were on an emotional roller coaster, they could not be where they are. They have not given in to losing. They have not accepted losing. They understand what losing is. In fact, Cale Sanderson, you hear me talking about him a lot because he's one of the all-time winningest wrestlers and wrestling coaches. And I listen to him all the time talking about winning and losing, and I can promise you there's not a lot of difference. Not at all. He will kind of scold reporters when they focus on, how does it feel that so-and-so lost? And he goes, well, we don't think of it like that. He had a good match, did a lot of things well, learned a couple things he needed to learn. We're going to be back in the wrestling room on Monday working on that. He'll be better the next time out.
It was never about winning and losing, but it was about being prepared. It was about competing just ferociously. It's easy to focus on winning and losing, but a higher standard is, how did you compete? How did you perform?
That's how he views a loss. He's not getting all hung up on it at all. Now, let me switch gears just a moment. I want to talk to you about what really is important about winning for your son. The preparation to win is really, really important. I used to say this to my son all the time. Look, if you're not prepared, don't expect to do well. That's illogical thinking. I'm not going to prepare, but I'm expecting to do great. I mean, nobody should be thinking like that. In fact, you should be saying, if I'm not prepared, I'm probably not going to do well. Okay. I did a lot of public speaking in my other life before baseball. And people used to say, aren't you nervous speaking to 1,000 people? I said, not at all. And they said, I would be so nervous. And I said, I'm prepared. I know my topic. I know exactly what I'm going to do, barring something catastrophic, like I lose my voice or something on stage, which, by the way, has happened, or completely lose my train of thought, which also happened one time. I'm not going to tell you the story behind that. But yeah, there are some things that can go wrong. But I was just prepared. I was confident. I was excited. I didn't worry about going out and laying an egg. And so when you're an athlete and you're preparing, your confidence soars. You go out there and yes, there is an expectation to win. And when you've prepared and when you lose, there is a disappointment. I'm not going to say there's not. I'm just saying the winners of winners roll right through that, analyze it, learn from it, and move on from it. In other words, they don't labor on it at all, at least not the people that I'm studying. And by the way, I'm sure if you're a parent, you're probably not spending as much time on this stuff as I do. This is my profession. I'm watching interviews. I'm watching press conferences. I'm Googling and using YouTube all the time to drill down into this. Why? Because my profession is helping young athletes. So I can be their ears, I can be their eyes. And as a parent, I can do the same thing for you. And I'm telling you that winning is not even the goal of these people. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but they're not saying, hey, I have to go out and win this match for me to feel like a success. What they're saying is, I have prepared for this. I'm going to go out and I'm going to compete. And yes, I want to win, but I might not win. And if I don't win, I will learn from my loss and I will move on. That's how they're viewing this. Takes all the pressure off. They just go out and you listen to some of these Penn State wrestlers talk. If you don't believe me, just go to YouTube, Google Penn State wrestling, and watch their interviews after their matches. The ones that they win and the ones that they lose. I promise you're not going to hear much difference. And it's not a facade. They're not trying to put on their, happy face, even though they lost. Not at all. They're authentic. You'll see that.
Last year, it really clicked for me after the season that When you figure out life and you're figuring out those types of things, wrestling kind of just comes easy. Wrestling is a direct reflection of who I am, not the other way around.
This is the core of Sanderson's coaching philosophy.
One of his sayings that I really, really like is these moments come and go quick. Just know what you want and go get it. So I think that just applies to every aspect of life.
Gratitude is something our program's known for. I feel like that's really the foundation of all success that lasts. We just kind of live in a world that looks at results, but we want to be different, and we can be bigger than wins and losses.
So that's one thing. So preparing to win is really important. Here's another thing that's really important about winning: the effort to win. The effort to win. Because remember, we can control the effort. So if I'm a parent looking at my son out there, is he prepared and is he putting forth the effort? Now, if he's not, that's a whole other subject. We got to talk about, if we're not prepared, why aren't we prepared? And if we're not putting forth the effort, why? Why are we out there if we're not going to give it 100%? And sometimes, by the way, kids don't know what 100% is. We have to help them understand what that is. And for some kids, it comes easy. In scouting terms, we say they have a high motor, like they are go, 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 go. You sometimes have to slow those kids down. And then you got some other kids out there kind of methodical and, kind of going through the motions. And you can clearly see when they run up against the kids with the high motors, they get run over. Okay. So as a top competitor, we got to be ready to compete, meaning it's game on. It's time to take it out there on the field and leave it on the field. So that's a whole other subject, but we can analyze preparation and effort. But when it comes to the results, I'm telling you, take the pressure off. It's not about winning and losing. It's about preparation and it's about effort. I really hope this helps you today, because focusing on winning and losing and letting it affect you will completely steal the joy out of this experience. And I don't want that for you. I want you to enjoy this with the wins, and believe it or not, enjoy it with the losses, because it's all a learning experience. And remember, we're still playing a game. So until the next time, God bless you. Hey there, it's Coach Mark, and you probably know that I put a lot of content out on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, and it's all designed to help parents and young athletes just learn the information and make some decisions that help them move on to the next level. That's the whole spirit of the content that we're providing. I've got 20 years of experience in this space, have helped almost 1,000 kids get to the next level. So there's a lot of information I can share, and I love doing it. But what you might not know is that I'm also the founder of the Ambassadors Group. That is a private consulting company for young athletes and their parents. We are loving it. I have a group of consultants that I work with that are helping me do what I do, experts in their field. So together, we are all helping these young athletes. So if you're interested at all in getting some help, or even just setting up a free 15-minute consultation, we can talk about your son, see where he's at, see if there's a way we can help him. We are taking new clients right now and setting up 15-minute free consultation. So there's a link below that allow you to do that. We would love to talk to you about your son.